Hello guys, Dr. Patrick Price here. I'm a chiropractor who uses functional medicine concepts here in Houston, Texas. And I'm bringing to you a program I've worked on for many years, Applied Kinetic Science. And I've studied with a lot of the old masters in muscle testing. And so I've learned to develop my own course over the years. And it's kind of like the MMA of martial arts. You put it into karate, judo, aikido together into one thing, and you use the technique needed at the moment. And so when you guys get into this muscle testing course, you're going to find it works differently for everyone. And so learning to, first of all, calibrate a client, a patient, if you will, is most important. And class one of level one is going to get into this, and you're going to find the details that simplify this. A lot of times it was taught to us in very complex ways. How open this channel, and you had to go down these other channels to get there. Well, we've learned to just simplify things, kind of like MMA has today. It's putting a lot of arts together and simplified into a single system of stand up to the ground. And this is the same kind of way. You're going to be using this muscle testing to work on the physical body, learning how to turn muscles back on, help with the organs and glands and nerve function, and the communication of. So organs and glands communicate to muscles. But when you look with the body, you need a technique to dive into that to find out what reflexes are hot. Or as we say, these are out of balance. It's kind of like the switchboard of your home. The bathroom lights are off. You're going to learn where that switch is to turn it back on. So literally, somebody's legs could be not able to lift at all, very weak. And you simply go up and hit a meridian on their head, turn the switch back on, and the person's up and walking again. So learning to do physical body work, not necessarily like a chiropractor, but learning how to turn switches back on can be very simple. And those of you who be doing this online in this course, from a distance, you can have the person stimulate the spots on their bodies as you find them. So from a distance, this can work just fine as well. So getting into the physical body work, the kinesiology of learning to find the reflexes where they are, and then learning where the muscles are that communicate to these. And there's lots of manuals and information that give you more details where these are if you need to read. But I try to make it very simple for you guys. And so when you dive into it, right away, the first day, you should be able to test someone immediately. Whether you want to stay at home and test somebody over the phone, over Zoom, things like this, you can do that exactly as well. For those of you who have their practice and touch people by hand, that's even better. But I do like you to put your hands on somebody and get a feel for that. So in this course, learning to touch the body, learning the reflexes will lead you to the next level, which is getting into nutrition, supplements. So that way you can kinesiology test which product matches that person's body. Not only that, the mastery of this is learning what dosage. So you may give somebody something that says, the pill says 1 a day, give this person, but you muscle test, they need 6 a day. Or maybe their adrenal glands are really tired. So in this course, you'll learn to overdose them maybe for a week, a couple of days, and then lower the dose to kinesiology. You can constantly be monitoring that person to the muscle testing. And so that is the next course, getting into testing these supplements against the body. And along the way, you're going to learn to detox, learn to clean the colon, liver and gallbladder. And then as we discussed even in filming, you're going to get into the candida and mold conditions as well. These are more the chronically ill people, the autoimmune people, how to deal with parasites, how to deal with chemicals in the bodies. So this is going to make you a complete practitioner. But nothing's more complete in office, which in school they told us, don't get into the emotions with our clients, with our patients. And I thought that was just, how can I not get to the emotions of the person, because that's why they're here. Well, if you have an understanding that the emotional components of a person or why their illness is usually there, this gives you a higher understanding of how to deal with emotions from the beginning. Because accidents, in my opinion, don't happen. When these things happen to you, it's a story for you. It's a lesson for you, because Earth really is a learning ground. When you're back here on Earth, you're in school. And so good or bad, what happens to you, it is a lesson. But if you get stuck in the lesson, that lesson will keep happening to you over and over again. You know, people get stuck in their emotions and they relive the story over and over again. So getting into the final step, the mastery of the course, is getting into the emotional testing. And I have plenty of nice charts for you to use. I have charts given to me. I had a near-death experience in 1995. When I came back, a chart came with me. And I asked, what is this chart for? They said, to test what people believe in. I said, what do you mean what they believe in? Actually, the test to see what emotions are in the subconscious that have them stuck. You can dig and find something a little deeper than what they think it is. And then you can relate it to whatever it is, their family, their job, their career, their money. And so that way you find why they really have the illness. And you'll find that these deep old hurt pains and traumas they have are deeply emotional based. And then you're going to have the way to neutralize these pains and aches in their bodies through the emotions. This is the advanced course. And actually, this is where people usually have the most fun, but it is the most challenging because when you dig in and work on people's emotions, remember, those emotions will come out on you and in your office and online, right? And you have to make sure you stay neutral because it has nothing to do with you. You're simply the observer who are neutral in this event. And so as you as a practitioner, this course will challenge you to be a better person yourself, to challenge your own emotions, and also detox your body as well. But guys, recently what happened to me is I got another challenge. Of all the traumas and all the injuries I've had in my entire life, I've overcome all of them. I've injured everything as a martial artist, my head down to my toes. Recently, this past December, I was in a motorcycle accident. And if you see my mother, it was a bicycle, it was a mountain bike, okay? But it was a motorcycle accident. And in that accident, I'm riding with some professional riders and I go around a curve, end of the day, hit some pine needles on the road, slippery like glass pine needles, and I slide off the road. You know, I've been on a bike all my life. I rode, I wrecked, but this day was quite different. I think God had another plan for me. When I went off the road at 30 miles an hour, I'm like, oh, not so bad. And I look up and of all things, there's a post. Obviously, this post had my name on it. And actually, as you see here, it does have my name on it, okay? Now, we didn't write this on beforehand, but this 4x4 post is where my body impacted. So at 30, 40 miles an hour, I slid off the road. And as you see around there, I could have slid anywhere. But for some reason, my path was guided right into this post. And this 4x4 post broke almost in half with my body. And so with this injury, I spent several months on my back in a body brace. And the guys at All Global Healing have been wonderful. They've been patient with me through this process and watching my recovery as I did all the things I know. And I even did the urine therapy, like Dr. Grupa advised. And let me tell you, I was up and running in no time. I had a broken spine, had broken tailbone, broken ribs everywhere. And when you fracture your spine, guys, I've had a lot of injuries. It is the most painful thing I've ever had to me personally. And so because of that, I had to take painkillers against my whole faith and belief is taking the medications, right? But believe me, when you're in severe pain and you cannot move because all your ribs are broke and your spine's broke, it was kind of God's blessing. I'm glad man designed painkillers. But as soon as you come off something like that, you have to detox these out of the body. So after 3 months of me laying on my back, which should have been probably 6 months, the doctor says, I'm already up and back in teaching martial arts again, but at a very low level. I'm back up seeing my patients again. Now I've learned to know my limits. And so now this injury is telling me a limit. So I can work so many hours a day and it tells me I must lie back on my back again and relax. So guys, the lesson was there. The moment of impact, I completely knew what it was about. And it's almost like it was a flash of what it was. And I knew what I had to do about it. And so because of doing that, I think my recovery was much quicker because I was able to release the emotion involved with that. And so we all have our incidents, our accidents, our traumas in life, our illnesses. Don't own your illness. Don't wear the t-shirt that says, I'm a diabetic. So you're looking at my t-shirt, diabetes, right? You should never own your condition. So when you get a diagnosis of anything, that should be nothing that you wear as a t-shirt and hold because you have these symptoms of blood sugar. I have these symptoms of back pain, you see. And so the idea with all this is to heal yourself, is to move past your traumas, overwrite the programs, neutralize the emotions. And so in this class, I'm a perfect example of how to do it since I've done it to myself for 30 years now. And so this is going to be laid right into your hands, guys, to enjoy this course, have fun with it. And hopefully in the future, we'll have some live Q&A classes so you can be more interactive with me. But please, this is my lifetime of work. Enjoy. It is for the world. And so when I leave this world behind, I want to make sure I leave this program with everyone who loves it and loves to work with people. Guys, I'm Dr. Patrick Price. Enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side.